The I Am Rapaport app is available for free download on all Apple and Android platforms. Once the app is downloaded, go to IamRapaport.com and click the Get It Now tab to sign up for premium access. Listen to me. Tuesday and Friday episodes are free on the app. Premium access gets you all the primetime Wednesday, emergency, and archive episodes, plus exclusive videos and bonus content. What, you don't have premium access? Here is what you missed. Here I am alone in the gloom tomb. Game 7. This is why I podcast.
Hi, I have Metal World Peace on the line.
5 minutes, right?
5 minutes. 2 questions for the great Brian Scalabrine. Today, we're going deep to celebrate the great James Brown. Steven Jackson, how you feeling, my man?
LeBron, he was a rookie. He came and tried to dunk on me, and I have footage of it. I grabbed him and slammed him to the ground, and this wasn't even the playoffs. There's only room for 4 people on the banana boat.
Download the I Am Rapaport app today. Oh yeah, you are now rocking with the best. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, and everything has lined up beautifully. Everything is lined up beautifully. It is the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are back in business for all eyes to see. There's no more Game 7s. There's no more Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. It comes down to 2 teams with 6 future Hall of Famers. Brooms up, motherfucker. Get your motherfucking brooms ready. The NBA Finals are set. It was Memorial Day weekend, and a woman decided to shave her legs. Yes, shave her legs. Publicly, right there on the side of a public pool. Rudy Giuliani showed up to Yankee Stadium for his 74th birthday. I'll tell you what happened. Plus, we have special guest, one of my favorite actresses. I've never worked with her. I never even really met her. The great Regina Hall. You've seen her in Girls Trip. You've seen her in The Best Man. You've seen her in Love and Basketball. You probably first saw her in the original Scary Movie. She did the entire franchise. She's one of my favorite actors. She could do comedy. She could do drama. She talks shit. She keeps it real. She's funny as fuck. Regina Hall is the special guest on this here I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Miles Jordan. Let me get something funky. Let's start this off right now the right way. Oh yeah, you fuck you. Oh, this is gonna be gorgeous. Now, G Moody is stuck in Brooklyn with some transmission problems. He may or may not be joining me on this I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, but who gives a shit? This is my time to shine. For those of you who did not hear the very combustible emergency podcast last night, only on the premium app, I suggest you hear it. Me and G Moody went at it about Cleveland, about KD versus LeBron. We went at it about Drake versus Pusha T. I predicted that Golden State would win, and I predicted that Kevin Durant would score 35 points or more in Game 7. Lo and behold, fuck you. He scored 34 points. I was 1 free throw shy of being right on the money. And as you know, I don't do it for the money. I do it for the honey. What a glorious feeling. Here we are with another banger I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. The NBA Finals are set. It's what Cleveland wanted. It's what Golden State wanted. It's what NBA fans wanted and knew was inevitable. The 2018 NBA Finals will come down to Cleveland. and LeBron fucking James versus the Golden State Warriors. And I predict it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be ugly fast. Yes, Houston pushed them to the brink. Yes, KD had 2 bad games. Yes, they were a little bit out of sync. I give credit to Houston. They made adjustments on defense. But the Golden State Warriors did the damn thing. They persevered like the champions they are. Who would have thought that both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals would go to 7 games? But they did. Good for the NBA. Good for Adam Silver. Keep your bald head clean and shining. You deserve it. I am a pig in shit. The finals start on Thursday. On Sunday, we will be performing, coincidentally, in San Francisco at the Cluster Festival. You can get tickets in San Francisco to see us at clusterfest.com. Me and G Moody live from San Francisco. I have to change all my fucking plans now because I'm trying to get tickets to game motherfucking 2. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I feel good. Yes, Cleveland is fuck Cleveland. Yes, LeBron is great. Yes, he's been unbelievable, but it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring. A shoebop, 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 shoebop. Wow. What's the sense of pushing it to the brink? What's the sense of all that brilliance when inevitably it's going to come down to getting your asses kicked against the Golden State Warriors? And that is what is going to happen. They are lucky last year they didn't get swept in 4 fucking games. I predict the same thing. I predict Golden State beats Cleveland again in 5 games, beating them easily. I predict Kevin Durant dominating LeBron James, just like he did last year. LeBron James cannot guard Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant cannot guard LeBron James. But you know what? He doesn't need to. Because the Golden State Warriors are a better team. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and fucking robot Klay Thompson. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. And it's going to be ugly. Okay? It's going to be ugly. And I can't wait. This is what... Listen, if you're a basketball fan, if you're a fan of greatness, this is what it's all about. Whether you're a real NBA fan or not, this is what it's all about. The 2 best teams with 5 of the best players to ever do it in no particular order. You have 5 All-Stars playing. LeBron James, Kevin Love also. 6 All-Stars. LeBron James, Kevin Love. Kevin Love will be a Hall of Famer. Draymond Green, Klay, KD, and Steph Curry. 6 Hall of Famers will be duking it out in the NBA Finals. That is the way it's supposed to be. Houston, you did your thing. You pushed them to 7 games, but it doesn't mean shit. Boston, you did your thing. You pushed them to 7 games. But at the end of the day, as gallant of an effort as the young guns from Boston put up, it don't mean shit. See, I am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. As I told you earlier, we got a great interview coming up. Regina Hall, you've seen her in so many movies, starting with Scary Movie. She was in all the Scary Movies. It was like Scary Movie parts 1 through 7. She was just in a huge monster hit last summer, Girls Trip. It was her. It was Queen Latifah. It was Jada Pinkett. And it was Tiffany Haddish. Love and Basketball, The Best Man, and so on and so on and so on. The thing that I love about Regina Hall, she's such a versatile actress. She's funny as shit. As you first saw in the Scary Movie franchise, she played a more straight sort of comedic version, comedic role in Girls Trip. She's just dope. She's been doing it for 20 years. OG Regina Hall is coming on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, and it's like Actors Studio status. We're talking about Black Hollywood. We're talking about the greatness of Denzel Washington. We're talking about the greatness of Wood Harris. Different films, how she approaches a script, how she approaches a scene. Trust me, if you like movies and television, you do not want to miss my conversation with the great OG Regina Hall coming up later in the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Now, I hope everybody had a safe Memorial Day weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Hope everybody was able to take a little break and decompress. Now, I'm going to be honest. The NBA playoffs took away from some of my decompression time. Okay? But I enjoyed myself. I was in the desert. I was schwitzing in the hot, warm air of the desert. Stayed out of the sun. Went to the steam room. Was in the jacuzzi. Was in the pool. Was drinking lattes. The whole deal. I needed it. Hadn't had a couple of days off since the beginning of the year. That's right. Fucking gringo mandingo working 24/7, 365. Yet we don't stop. I told you yesterday was a combustible. Right after Game 7, Boston versus Cleveland, it was a combustible emergency podcast. Some of you might feel like you were left out. Do not live in FOMO. Download the I Am Rapaport app. It's free. Sign up for premium podcasting, $2.99 a month. Do not live in fear of missing out, aka FOMO. $2.99. And I got a little message. A guy on Instagram threatened me. I don't remember your name. I didn't save it. I was polite in your response when you threatened me, and then I thought about it, and I said, nah, I don't feel comfortable with what you said. I had some prick. And this guy says he's a day one listener. Said, Mike Rapp, I'm a day one listener, but if you mention the app and premium podcasting again, I'm out. Well, listen to me, fucko. You listen to me, fucko. I don't negotiate with terrorists. You understand me, fucko? I don't negotiate with fucking terrorists. That's a threat. If I mention the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast app on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, you're out? Well, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Don't listen again. Take a fucking walk. Beat it. I mentioned it. I'm mentioning it again. Premium podcasting, $2.99 a month. You get emergency episodes. You get emergency short films. You get all access to all the previous episodes only for $2.99 a month. You can't even buy a slice of fucking pizza for $2.99 anymore. But you get all the podcasting, all the emergency episodes, all the special shit that we have on there for $2.99 a month. Now, you got a problem with me mentioning the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast app? Fucko, huh? If you left, let me know, because I'm going to blow you up and put you on the shame game with me and Dean Collins, a.k.a. the young shooter, threatening me, telling me what I should talk about and what I shouldn't talk about on the fucking I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Fuck you, and the Gringo Mandingo. I am the Jake LaMotta of podcasting. I give you 15 rounds of hard body karate, blood, sweat, and tears every single time I pick up the fucking microphone. Same with G Moody. Same with the Dust Brothers. Fucking animal. And the reason why I even started talking about safety during Memorial Day weekend, because some guy, and guess what? Guess which one of the 50 states? Florida. Now, I'm not going to make light of this, okay? Because someone did die, but somebody walked into a Little Caesars pizza parlor wearing a scary ghoul mask, and somebody got killed. Listen, you don't want to walk into a Little Caesars pizza parlor after hours with a fucking mask on, okay? Things might not end well for you, and they didn't end well for this asshole creeping into the Little Caesars pizza place late night, scaring the shit out of people. No, it's Florida. There's been shootings all over the country. Let's not forget that just a few months ago, somebody came into a Waffle House and killed people. You don't walk into pizza parlors 3, 4, 2 a.m. in the morning with a mask on. The person who killed him, shot him, had a permit for the weapon. No charges, no nothing. Scared the shit out of the guy. Seemed like he was going to rob the place. Had a pointy mask with pointy ears and sinister eyes. Sorry, asshole. I don't know what the fuck you think this is. But this ain't the day and age to be doing that type of shit, especially on the late night creep. I'm going to rattle off a couple other things that happened over the weekend that were just outrageous. And I already did a video for this. It's on my Instagram. But some woman was at a pool with her kids, and she videotaped another woman in a public pool, not a private pool, not the privacy of her own home, a public pool, go to the ledge of the pool with several kids in the pool. This is a heavy-set woman. I don't care that she's heavy-set. I'm going to refer to her as an animal because of what she did, not because she's heavy-set. Okay? There's no crowds around me when I walk around shirtless. I don't insult people's looks unless they insult mine. You insult my looks, I insult your looks. You know my personal policy. But the reason why I'm calling this woman a beast, a savage, is because she went to the edge of the pool and started shaving her legs. Public shaving of her legs in a public pool. Disgusting. Disgusting, you filthy wildebeest pig, you. You savage. She was shaving her legs, and you know how when you're shaving, whether you're shaving your beard or your legs, when the razor gets full of hair and you need to clean it and dab it, you usually dab it in the sink or dab it in the shower, like 99.9% of the other people in the world. This pig, this animal, dabbed her razor in the pool. That's how she was cleaning it, and continued to shave and bathe in a public pool. Unacceptable. And the kids, they're not paying attention. They don't know what this wildebeest is doing. The adults are sitting there dumbfounded. No one said anything. I saw the video. Of course, I had to yellow her. I don't know how you react to this shit. In this day and age, if you do that, am I being mean? Are you harassing? Are you judging? I am going to be honest. I am judging. You're a slob. You're shaving your legs in a public pool. That's judgment. I know it, and I have no problem with that. Is what is actually in my heart. Imagine your kids are in that pool. They're swimming around with the hair and the shaving cream and all the germs from this hyena who's deciding to shave her legs and her body in public. Rudy Giuliani and his weird teeth. I don't know if he's got veneers or he's got like a whole fake set of teeth. He went to a Yankee game. You know, he's a big-time Yankee fan for his 74th birthday, which is the same day as Memorial Day, May 28th. And he got booed in the Bronx, in New York, by New Yorkers. New York, stand up. Okay? Donald Trump has not been to a Yankee game. Donald Trump hasn't been to a Knick game. Donald Trump hasn't been to a public appearance in New York since he got elected because he knows what time it is. He'll get booed in his own city. Unprecedented behavior. Rudy, you're whacked out of your fucking tree. You showed up to a Yankees game on your birthday. You thought shit was sweet, and you got booed publicly. And that ain't fake news. Look at the multiple tapes. No one cheered. No one likes Rudy G. Crooked Rudy. As you know, I am a star on Instagram, okay? I spend way too much time on my phone, way too much time on social media. But I am a star. I'm a star in real life, a star in podcasting, I'm a star social media. I'm going to warn you. This phone behavior, too much phone, they got a thing called tech neck. It's a real thing. Chiropractors' business is booming. People are coming in there in droves. My neck hurts. My neck hurts. My neck hurts. And they are literally calling it tech neck. I know I have it. Look down at your phone. spending too much time on your phone, and you're always perched down. The evolution of man, we're going to turn back into gorillas if we don't straighten up. One of the things I'm getting sick and tired of doing, sick and tired of seeing on Instagram is the fake motivational speakers, the fake positivity, the fake gurus of hope and light. Listen, if I'm down and I'm looking for a way out, I'm not gonna go to some stripper who's got a broken heart, who's kicking things with about love, like be with someone who feels like home. Also, be with someone that feels like home to those who love you. Listen, if you were so smart in the first place, sweetheart, sugar tits, okay? If you had it all figured out with love and life, you'd be tweeting pictures of your beautiful husband or your beautiful wife and your beautiful kids, okay? Obviously, you're suffering from a broken heart, but I'm not going to turn to you for some advice. You're the last fucking person. You're alone on your phone. No disrespect to being alone on your phone. I'm alone on my phone all the time, but I'm not trying to tell people, this is what you need to do. Yo, it's Monday. Get out there and do the damn thing. Stay positive, people. Stay focused, people. Focus your energy, people. And on Thursday, if you haven't done shit with Tuesday and Wednesday, still stay focused because it's the weekend. And you know what the weekend is for? The weekend is for going fucking nuts, taking some K2, and you can make it up next month. All this fake positivity from fake gurus and love doctors. I don't want to hear it. If I want some love advice, I'll call Dr. Phil or Dr. Drew or one of these other scam artists. No disrespect to Dr. Drew. No disrespect to Dr. Drew, but you know what I'm saying. Now, on this here I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, we are not doing an official sick fuck of the week segment, but this is another thing that happened over Memorial Day weekend in Portland, Oregon. 2 police officers saw a guy named Timothy John Wilson. And if anybody looks like a sick fuck, Timothy John Wilson of Portland, Oregon looks like a sick fuck 24/7, 365. He looks whacked out of his tree. 2 police officers were in a public bathroom. They heard some sounds under the toilet stall. Lo and behold, this sick fuck, Timothy John Wilson, was in the stall choking his chicken. Police officer said, what the fuck are you doing? They gained a view of the guy. So he had his loaf in hand, arrested him, yada, yada, yada. This sick fuck is saying that the police officers violated his privacy and his civil rights. Sorry, asshole. Sorry. The toilet stalls are for taking a leak or dropping a deuce, not for choking your chicken. You're lucky I don't have a sick fuck of the week segment going right now. You're lucky. Unacceptable. Unacceptable on a holiday weekend. Unacceptable on a regular weekend. Unacceptable any day of the week. This is the type of shit that's going to be going on more often in Starbucks public bathrooms. I was in a Starbucks the other day. Guy had no drink on his table. Sleeping at the table. Knocked out. White dude. Sleeping at the table. Kind of clean-cut looking dude. Laid up on his table like he was in the back of a 7th grade science class. Remember that? When you be in the back of a 7th grade science class, you catch a little schluff. You know what a schluff is? Schluff is Yiddish for a little nap. This guy was in Starbucks. He just went there to take a fucking nap. I was in Palm Springs, about 101 degrees. He went there. He's like, fuck it. I'm not getting a drink. I'm not doing anything. This is a place to chill and to hang out and to nap. Nobody said a word to this fucking guy. Ridiculous. You're going to have guys in there napping. You're going to have guys in the bathroom choking their chickens going forward in Starbucks. And I'm a fan of Starbucks. Ice, vanilla, soy latte, or ice, vanilla, almond milk latte every day. I don't know what to do. I'm torn. I'm scared. I'm nervous. There's going to be shenanigans. There's going to be altercations. There's going to be all kinds of shit happening at Starbucks. Mark my words. Like I said, Starbucks, you want to make public bathrooms? Make homeless shelters. Make homeless shelters all across the country as frequently as you make Starbucks. End of the problem. In the homeless shelter, you should give them free Starbucks. You should have public bathrooms and give them free coffee. And I'm not making light of homelessness. It breaks my heart. But one does not have to do with the other. And a coffee shop is not a homeless shelter. And that's what they're turning into. And that's not me being disrespectful at all about the homeless, because it's a serious problem. It's a real problem. And it's not just adults that we see. It's little kids, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm very aware of that. But making Starbucks public bathrooms for anybody and everybody, whether you pay or not, isn't the way to resolve the problem that happened in Philadelphia. I believe earlier in the show, I mentioned K2. Well, there's a bad batch of K2 going around throughout the 5 boroughs of New York City. There's been 49 plus overdoses in Manhattan because of that synthetic, that ooh-wee, that Maui-wowie, those gray skies of that K2. Listen, in this day and age, you want to get fucked up? Get yourself some weed. You want to get fucked up? Drink a couple of beers. The K2 is not the way. That synthetic is never the way. And if you're in the 5 boroughs, this happened right there in Brooklyn on Bushwick Avenue, not too far away from G. Moody. Last name rhymes with Duty, where he grew up in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn. People are dropping like fucking flies. The heat is coming, and people are still fucking with that K2, that Maui-wowie. Get off that K2. There's a bad batch going around the 5 boroughs. I know some Iron Rapaport Stereo podcast fans like to dip their toes in those gray skies. I'm not judging you. I'm here to support you. I don't recommend it. Get yourself some of that brown. Get yourself some weed. Don't fuck with that synthetic. It doesn't work out. Public drinking, public smoking usually doesn't work out. On an American Airlines flight, we've been talking about this all of 2018. Last year was sexual assaults on farm animals. This year, the unfriendly skies have taken over. The other day, a guy who was clearly drunk on a short flight. I'm not fact-checking. I don't know where it was from, but it wasn't a cross-country flight. It was like from Nevada to Ohio, I think. Started talking shit to the steward, the flight attendant. The guy was like, I'm not giving you any more beers. You're fucked up. Guy started talking greasy to the flight attendant. The flight attendant was being nice. Next thing you know, in the next part of the video, the guy who was drunk with his sunglasses on, who they refused to give beer to, the flight attendant, he said to the flight attendant at one point, what are you, my bartender? He said, on the flight, yes, I am your bartender. No more beer for you. Cut him off, 86, this fuck. 15 seconds later, another videotape. This guy's in a brawl in the air, in the friendly skies with his friend, I think. Him and his friend got into it. Now this asshole, 20 years in jail. He faces 20 years in jail. Now, I don't think he should do 20 years in jail. But people think that when you're on a plane, it's like being in a park. It's not. There's different rules and regulations. You're up there fighting dudes, scaring passengers. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Sit your fucking ass down. This is why I have no problem with the flight attendants and the marshals duct taping your ass while the flight is in air. If you're acting crazy and you don't comply, duct tape these fucks. Obviously, there has to be order. You can't just go around duct taping anybody. But if someone's being belligerent and they're getting into a fight, we're not landing the flight. I have a meeting. I need to make it to my meeting. We're duct taping you to the chair. You're the last one off the plane. I'm going to get to my meeting on time, and then we're sending your ass to prison and let the judge figure it out. That's how I see things. This asshole's now facing 20 years in jail for everything that went down on that flight. All right, as I mentioned over and over and over, the finals are starting Thursday. Before the finals, Thursday evening, before game 1, I am hosting a question and answer NBA Finals trivia game where you can win cash from your couch. It's easy. I've played it before. That's why I got involved. This app is called Swag IQ. Okay? Download Swag IQ now and be ready to play with me Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, where you can win money, real money. You can win $3,000 by answering NBA-themed trivia questions. You think you know the answers? You can try to cheat. You can do whatever you want. Okay? You're at home. I'm asking the questions. The winner walks away with cash in hand. Swag IQ is better than other trivia apps out there because you can rejoin the game if you miss one question. I'm going to be rattling off the questions. You're going to answer them. You can keep playing for swag bucks even if you're eliminated from the grand prize. Okay, that means they're giving money away not just to one person, to multiple people. There's only 10 questions, so your odds of winning are higher. Swagbucks.com has already given away $250 million in cash and free gift cards to their members. The young shooter is obsessed with this app. That's how I found out about it. I'm doing all NBA Thursday before Game 1, 8 p.m. Eastern. Swag IQ airs 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live. It's going down, okay? Sunday through Friday, and is available in the United States and Canada. Download the Swag IQ app today and play. I will see you. I will be hosting it this Thursday before Game 1. I love the Pusha T record. I love the production. Of course, Kanye West produced the record. I like Pusha T. It's it's just grimy production. 7 songs, 21 minutes, which I was complaining about at first. And apparently 7 songs, 21 minutes is enough to be considered an album and to be nominated for a Grammy. Although I think in my days, we call that a fucking maxi single or a mixtape. Nonetheless, the record is dope. The production is dope by Kanye. Me and G Moody disagreed on the outcome of the Drake Pusha T quote unquote beef on yesterday's very hot and heavy argumentative I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. But you should check out the record if you're a fan of hip hop. And it's going to be interesting because so many people's response to the record was in regards to Kanye's production and has nothing to do with whether they like it or not. It has to do with him. And if he does, in fact, release a Nas record, like I said this before, I hope it doesn't interfere with Nas's sales because people are not happy with Kanye West and all his bullshit as of recent. People still talking shit about the Patriots. Listen, I don't like Boston sports. Never have, never will. Yes, I did rent the Boston Celtics for 2 weeks. Yes, I did not sleep the night they lost to Cleveland in Game 7 in Boston. I was hurt. Yes, I love Jason Tatum. Yes, I love Jaylen Brown. Yes, Kyrie Irving, the whole deal, my man Scalabrine, but I'm not a real Boston Celtics fan. I wanted them to beat the shit out of Cleveland. Okay? I don't know why the offseason, every single offseason of the NFL, there's more bullshit about the Patriots. Now, I am a big football fan. I'm not the biggest football fan. But former New England Patriots defensive end Cassius Marsh, who's good, seen him play. He ain't no Hall of Famer, ain't no All-Pro. He came out talking shit about the Patriots. He got traded or dropped or cut and traded. He's now with the 49ers. Talking shit about the Patriots, saying they don't have fun there. There's nothing about it that's fun. There's nothing about it that's happy. I didn't enjoy any of my time there. You know what I'm saying? It made me, for the first time, think about not playing football because I hated playing there so much. Then you're not about that life, Duke. You have the privilege of playing professional football for the best team in the world. I can't stand these motherfuckers. You're complaining and talking shit. You're lucky to be in the NFL. Maybe you don't have the grit. Yeah, they say that Belichick's a pain in the ass. Yeah, they say that Gronkowski can't stand him and Tom Brady might be fed up. But you don't hear them actually say, these are all rumors. Again, I can't stand the fucking Patriots, but I respect them. Cassius Marsh, maybe you were never about that life. Danny Amendola's popping shit saying, be free, be happy. They got the best of you. They got the best of you. You'll never do what you did with the Patriots on any other team, Danny Amendola, and I like you. I fucks with you. This guy's talking shit like, they were in some sort of a slave camp. So what? It's not fun and games. You're winning, right? Shut the fuck up. Listen, what more can I say? I told you this was going to be a dope-ass interview, okay? I promise you this is going to be a dope-ass interview. Coming up, if you don't know her name, you know her face, okay? You're going to want to listen. It's all acting, everything. This is about the inner workings of what it's like to be an actor, the process of being an actor. This is fun conversation, the greatness of other actors, the highs and lows of being even a successful actor, someone like Regina Hall. She's been in mega hits. Scary Movie. These movies made millions and millions of dollars. Girls Trip, biggest blockbuster of last summer. She's breaking down the highs, the lows, the reality of everything in her career that I could squeeze out on One Eye and Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Coming up next, I'm so excited about having her on the show. I've been a fan. We never even met in real life. Coming up next, let's get something nice. Let's get something pretty. Let's get something funny. Let me get something smooth for OG Regina Hall on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. All right. Give me test. Test. We get a test. All right. Regina Hall, OG. Now you're an OG.
I'm an OG. It's true.
You're a fucking OG. Regina Hall, thank you for coming on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I don't think we've ever met.
We have met. But
when did we? In passing?
In passing.
Remember?
Well, I remember because I was a fan of your work. I wasn't working yet. So, it would, how you meet a lot of people. There's no way to remember.
Yeah.
But you were very sweet and we met very much in passing. And I was like, I love Michael Rapaport.
In New York?
He's so dope. In New York.
Before you were popping off.
Yes, before.
All right, that's good. Like, Lisa was a good because I know that kind of meeting is different than I met you at the blah 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 premiere.
Yeah, no,
all right, that's good. Yeah. Thank God.
We didn't meet. What I did was it was a fan meeting.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you. Well, I'm a fan. And now
I'm a fan.
But it's funny because we've never met. But we have so many people in common. Worked with so many people in common. And I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I think, obviously I saw you in The Best Man. But I remember seeing you in Scary Movie. and it was such an interesting, your comedy in that movie was so, I feel like it was ahead of its time for a girl because you're not like a normal comedic actress, especially at that time. Your comedy was just sort of deadpan. The comedy in that movie was kind of ahead of its time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because, a lot of people were like, I was like, some people were like, oh, I love Brenda. And realizing what really Brenda was a stereo. She was a stereotype of what we see in horror movies. So we took everything a little bit far. And, we had Keenan, so that made it. That helped a lot. But that was a fun movie to make because I loved Anna too. I love Anna Faris.
She's funny. That was kind of both of your sort of breakthrough things, and you were both unique comedic performances. They were both unique comedic performances. Yeah. And it was a big fucking movie.
I know, but when we made it, nobody thought it was going to be big. So we didn't have a studio person bothering us. Nobody was there. It was just kind of like, oh, they're doing a movie. I mean, they thought it'd be good, but it was never anticipated to be summer release. That was after testing.
Right.
And things changed.
Was that a Miramax movie?
That was Dimension.
Dimension, which was the other Weinstein's brother.
The brother.
All right. So you've done so much shit. I usually don't fact check for the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, but you've done so many movies. Paid in Full, Love and Basketball, Scary Movie, First Sunday, Law-Abiding Citizen, Death at a Funeral. I mean, Think Like a Man. Of course, you did Girl Trip, which was a huge, huge fucking hit. Mm-hmm. Let me just like rattle off questions. First, like with The Best Man, you played Candy. Mm-hmm. Now I rewatched that scene. How do you get a part? Like you play it like you play a stripper, like you show up at this bachelor party. Do you have to like go in there and dance in it?
So the first auditions we did for the movie, we didn't have to dance. We had to act. We had to do the scenes. There was another scene in there that got cut out the movie. But
they were like, yeah, we're going to make them think that it's just...
Yeah. So we go and we audition, and then once they narrowed it down to like the 5 girls, we had to dance.
And you had to come back and dance?
We had to come back, and then the audition was just dancing. But I'm not a dancer, and I was like, I can't, a stripper. And I was a little self-conscious because I didn't feel like I had, Candy was supposed to be the main attraction, so I didn't feel like I had enough body.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because it was like, so I go do it, and I do the dance, and I was drinking. I drank some Alizé because I was like, that'll help me dance.
To get loose.
And I had my friend from my acting class was like, listen, she used to strip. She said, just turn around and just, smack your ass. That's all you got to do. I was like, that's it. She's like, that's it. I promise. I get in the audition and I see girls doing routines in the waiting room. Because, back then when they don't care if you see each other, they don't care if you hear each other. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't have a routine. I go in, do my audition. I turn around, I get a chair and I just start. That's all I do. And then I remember the producer cut the tape off and he said, okay, can you do anything else? And I was like, yes. Thank you. And then I got my jacket and I left.
Because you thought like you weren't going to get it.
And you know what? I was so fine with it because I hadn't gotten anything before. I was like, oh, my agents will be used. They won't even think about it. They'll just be like, they'll be happy I got close.
What kind of auditioner are you? Because as an actor, it's like being an actor on a film set or being an actor on a television set or being an actor who's actually cast in a play. Being a cast actor and the skills that take are totally different than auditioning.
Absolutely.
And a lot of young actors, they don't know that and they don't get it. Like I have some friends who suck at auditioning
and are amazing actors, right?
Yeah, but they just can't get the parts because the nerves. It's such a the nerves and the pressure and like I used to feel like now when I go into an audition, like I treat it like it's my time. And it took me a long time to even have that confidence where I'll go, oh, I'm going to start again. Where I sort of like, if I have to audition, I'm going to fucking, like, I'm going to treat it like a set.
You own it, yes.
But it takes years to get that confidence. Were you a good auditioner or were you a nervous auditioner? Because you're sort of zero. Like, when I see you, like, in interviews and when I see you, like, regular, like, you're neutral as neutral.
Right.
But then when I see you in, like, a scary movie, I'm like, you're, like, fucking out there. You know what I mean? Like, what is your auditioning, like, mentality?
Well, when I did, for example, Scary Movie or all of them, when I audition, I feel like I really feel like the character. I'm a little shyer, like Regina's shyer.
Right, in real life.
In real life. You know what I mean? Like I'm a little shyer, a little more subdued. But if I'm in character, then I'm not.
So you get in the head of the character?
Yeah, because once I go over it, at home, I would be like, what's her hair like? Yeah, I start her clothes. Like I could figure out the person and then listen, sometimes I've had just some really bad auditions. Where I've just and I thought I was good. There's nothing worse than auditioning like I killed it and they're like it's not going any further. But
yeah,
I think
I know it's fucked up.
But I think it's gotten better. I auditioned for a long time before I worked. I used to get freaked out if I saw somebody famous too.
Auditioning.
Oh, yeah, because I'd be like, oh, they're going to get it. Why am I even here?
Yeah.
Like, if I saw somebody walked in the room that I had seen on television, it could have been under 5.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So
but you just recognize them.
I would get in my head and be like, I'm not going to get it.
Do you, like, at times now, I still have to audition or I'll choose to audition, and it feels like show business and success, it's like, at one point, like, in the 90s, early 2000s, it was like, oh, I did this, I did that, I have my quote, make an offer. Now it's like, listen, motherfucker, we're going to give you what we want to give you. We don't give a fuck, and if you don't take it,
Well, the business has changed. Even in terms of like the respect for a body of work.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like I see actors, and you'd be one of them who I would be like, just based on what they do, I'm like, we'll be lucky to get them. Because I'm like, nobody's going to do it as good. And then, there's the stuff that you learn about there's stuff from working that, to me, it's gonna supersede Heat any day. Some people, I can edit them, but doesn't mean I can edit them and make them great, but it doesn't mean, that they're gonna be as. I'm talking about in a purist way, you know what I mean, from an art form as, somebody else. But, it's changed because now it feels like it's so much more money based, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like, there's the film business is fucked.
Yeah.
Even television, it's just different. I haven't really got a handle on it, but it's just different in terms of the way they treat actors and the amount of jobs. And I don't know, it's like they don't look at a body of work, and then some people are like, well, I saw that, but I have, and I'm like, like with you, like there's certain things that you've done, like certain things that we know Regina Hall is good at. And then like for me, like I'm like, listen, I'll audition, but like I'm not auditioning for a New York cop. I'm not auditioning for like you either get me or 50 other New York cops, but I'm not coming in to audition for a fucking New York cop.
No. Nor should anybody have the audacity to ask you that.
I want to make them audition. I'm like, because when I do it, I have such resentment. Like, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, do some push-ups. Let me see you. Who you audition for me? Like, what the fuck have you done?
No, I had somebody who wanted me to audition, and I was like, well, they've never directed. I should ask them to put a shot list together.
Right.
Why am I? But it is, and like I look and I go, the brain should automatically go, oh yeah, Michael Rapaport, he'll kill this. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I think it's a power thing. They do it because they can sometimes.
Yeah, they do it because they can, and I think it's their insecurities.
I think so too.
Because like a really dope director, I'm just making sure this is on. Like I think like the best directors, sometimes they might make you audition, sometimes they might not. But I think like. Like if you're with somebody that really is in tune with what they're doing, they're going to know who they want to do it.
So the vision is there. It's so funny because I went to the Austin Film Festival for a movie I had in there, and I met Paul Thomas Anderson. Yeah. And I had seen Phantom Thread. And what I had loved about that movie so much, and you can tell me what you think about this if you saw it, was...
I loved it.
I loved it. Was the time that I felt like it was allowing an actor to give a performance.
Completely.
And
That's a good fucking movie.
It's like the space to, I was like, wow, what it would be to be able to act as opposed to you're doing something, they edit it and you're like, wow, that was an amazing moment you just had. Like just to see that and to see a director do that. And the woman, I can't think of her name, who, Yes. I loved her so much. I loved Daniel Day-Lewis, but I just really felt like, wow, it's so nice when you get to see an actor's piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and he's obviously...
Yeah, well.
He's on like the top of his shit, and like it's a clear vision. Like he writes it, the sets, the wardrobe, the music,
the details,
everything in that movie was. I mean, it's a bugged out movie. It's kind of a bugged out movie.
It is.
What else have you seen? What was the last movie you saw that you thought was dope? That you got excited about besides Phantom? Because that probably be like, besides like I've been watching these documentaries that are fucking nuts on Netflix.
Watch Wild Wild Country.
Love that shit. I had the two directors here on the podcast.
You did?
Did you love it?
I loved it. It was.
I had them both here. I was bugging off of that shit.
It was crazy because I was like, my friend said, you got to watch Wild Wild Country. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, just turn it on. And then kind of we had talked about her history. And then when I looked at that, and it was a 6-parter. And what happens is I was like, why'd I start looking at this at 9 o'clock? I got to get up in the morning. I was mad that I couldn't binge it and all at once. But I did it over 2 days. But it was deep, man. It was a complex. It was a lot of things.
It was deep and bugged out.
It was. Listen, the fact that they had a plan. Just what they. I can't.
That's my dog, Weezy.
So cute.
Yeah, he's sleeping.
This is so.
See, I am Rapaport Stereo Podcast News Dog.
Let me tell you something. Zeus snored like an engine. That's why this sound is so beautiful. It just. I mean, Sheila. I mean, the whole thing. I was just.
Do you think Sheila's nuts? Do you think she's a master? Like, what was your takeaway from Sheila?
You know what, Sheila. You know, I like the white girl who stood by Sheila's side, who came back. She was so dope to me.
Yeah.
Like she had a lot of levels.
Yeah,
I felt like her commitment was always real. Mm-hmm. she was definitely controlling and manipulative in her way. Like,
Yeah.
You know, my friend was like, "Oh, she just loved him so deeply," and I was like, "Did she, or was there a little bit of like loving the idea that the guy who was that guy loved her, and you know that their stuff was sacred?"
She treated it like a business.
That's how I felt.
That's what the dudes that you got to listen to, because if you like, I had them on. They gave me the whole thing. So the end game of what they told me is like, she treated that whole thing like she was the business person. Like she was like his like the general manager, and like we're doing whatever we need to do for the team.
Right.
Have you seen this other one called Evil Genius? It's brand new.
No, I gotta watch it.
I don't want to say it's better or it's the same type of shit. It's the same dudes, the Duplass brothers. Fucking bug.
I have to give me the documentary. Let me tell you, a documentary can get me so good. A good documentary where I'm so drawn in. People sleep on documentaries way too much, I think.
Oh yeah. But Evil Genius is like you're gonna watch.
That's gonna be tonight.
Start it, and the first 10 minutes you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
That's gonna be tonight.
Because me and my wife started watching. No, I started watching. She's like, "I'm gonna go upstairs. I don't want to get involved with another one of these." She came down like it was 12 minutes because I paused it. It said 12 minutes. I was like, "Yo, we're gonna start this shit again." And I love when you don't have to. There's no like wait for episode 3. Like I need the shit to be on and popping off the top.
It's like your brain gets fed immediately. You know when that's what I love.
And you're sucked in. You're like, I'm ready for the long haul.
Let me ask you this though: did you watch the Assassination of Gianni Versace?
I didn't. Is it good?
I want you to watch that.
Okay.
I thought, and now that you can watch it and you don't have to wait each week, I thought it was great.
Okay.
Darkest Hour in terms of movies, I thought he was a beast.
Yes.
I cried.
Yeah.
You know why I cried during that movie? I never thought about. History is history. You don't necessarily think about a moment that you're not in. But I thought about Winston Churchill and what it took when he said, we can't compromise with this man. He's a monster. And I thought...
Talking about Hitler.
Yes, talking about Hitler. And I thought, what if he hadn't?
Right.
You know, like the conviction that it took. And he was an older man. And, you know, for that to be that prime moment. And it broke my heart to think of... Because you're not thinking about moments from, years ago. And I go, wow, like he was begging. He was begging countries like,
right.
We can't do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The gratitude towards somebody who's like, when he was like, we cannot compromise, and the war general was like, we have to, and he was like, then what? Then this island is safe, but what about what he's doing? It was too much.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's a good...
And Gary Oldman is a motherfucker, and I mean, and the makeup people and that shit, because Homeboy disappeared.
He disappeared.
Have you ever done any stuff where you had to like prosthetics or any crazy?
No,
like you've
but
done
I
like
want
little silly stuff, but
yeah,
like you've never done
stuff,
like
no.
full on like fat suits or totally disappear. I want to go through more movies. Paid in Full.
Oh yeah.
Which is like a hood classic. The crazy shit is the real people, Rich Porter and Alpo. Like I was around all that shit.
How about this? So when I finished school, to pay my way through going to acting school, I had started teaching. I was a professor at the college in New Rochelle.
Okay. And what year is this?
This is, let me see, 95, 96,
okay.
96. So I'm at the college in New Rochelle. I always used to wear head wraps because I wanted everybody to be like, I didn't want any of the students, because I was 25. I didn't want my students to think of me as on their level. Right. So then, cut to years later, I'm doing Paid in Full, and I meet Pat Porter. Pat Porter went to that school. I knew her. She was a student. She's
crazy.
Like, you used to be so mean. And I was like, no, I wasn't mean. I just couldn't really consort with the students because, but how about she remembered? She's like, you used to always be like, my class is starting, get out. So I ended up having a good conversation with her about
that whole story.
And it was crazy and I remembered her as one of the students in the school, but it was crazy that I was then playing her.
That's fucking nuts. And you had no idea.
No idea.
So like that movie is such an interesting movie because I say a hood classic, an underground classic, but call it what it is, a hood classic. Like it didn't have a big it wasn't like a big box office thing.
No, it didn't have a big release. It was only 300 theaters.
And I got to be honest, when I first saw it, my expectations were so high.
Oh, okay.
Like I because I was so around that shit.
That was your world, yeah.
Like really, like, and I thought all the performances were dope, and Wood was dope, and Cameron was dope,
Wood
and
was dope,
Mackay was dope, and
they were.
But I feel like that movie is a really good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it was like my expectations, but like I know Dame Dash since I'm fucking 9 years old. So
right.
I know his struggles with it, and he was frustrated, and you shot some of it in Canada, and I was like, oh, that's Canada, that's Harlem.
So you felt it because you were in that process.
Literally, like, I was in the rooftop, I was around the shit, and like I would see them drive by.
And Dame Dash did have some frustrations with the studio, with everything. So yeah, you heard it. You experienced it and then heard it about what was going on. So I'm sure for you, it was definitely like, let's see what they did.
But when you make a movie like that sort of spans the test of time, and like people still love it, and it's on Instagram, and it'll be like, it's the 24th anniversary, like the 20, like who the fuck is keeping track that it's the 26th anniversary of Paid in Full? It's a weird thing because certain people love that fucking movie, but then like Hollywood could give two shits about Paid in Full.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. But I got to tell you, there's nothing like the feedback of the people.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like Hollywood can love it, but like, which is great. But when people come up to you and it's like 10 years later, and it's funny because, it was really about the guys. But when I have people who love the scene because I'm boring too, you know what I mean? Like, why are you with me? Then I'm like, it is, you're like, wow, you feel like it had an emotional effect on people. And
right.
That's the reason that we do what we do, right? More than anything is you're making statements in the work. So I was surprised because, I had somebody recently come up to me and they're like, you Ace Boogie's mom. And I had, I'm not thinking about Paid in Full all the time. So I was like, no, you must have me confused. And they're like, Paid in Full. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Kidding me. Yeah. What the actors in that film, like Wood Harris, I think he's such an underrated, underappreciated actor.
Incredible actor.
Such a unique actor.
So unique.
And like has his own fucking vibe. And I love Mahershala Ali.
Yeah,
Mahershala Ali. But I'm like, Wood Harris should be getting some of this love because Wood is so, and I've said this to Wood, and I love them both. It's not to compare him, but I'm like, Wood is like, he's
so dope.
So dope.
So dope.
What like one of the things I do on the podcast is like when I have basketball players, they'll talk about other basketball players. So like somebody like Wood, what do you take away that makes him such a good actor? Like, what is it about him that you think is unique? Because like he's somebody like, I think like acting is so much of an energy. Like we all have our energies when we're doing our thing, whether it's De Niro energy, so Denzel true. Energy, Christopher Walken energy, Wood Harris energy, your energy. Everybody has an energy. He's got such a specific.
Wood is so dope because what he does is everything is always truth. But what he doesn't do is go into the stereotype of what we think. So Wood's drug dealer is going to be different because he's not going to, it's like whatever it is on paper, like Wood's going to bring what he does to it. And it's not going to be what you thought, but it's going to impact you like, because he's got a subtlety. So even when Wood is being menacing, it's not going to be like, ugh, it's different, so the way he works into a character and he's got like, he's always present and yet there's an aloofness. Like he's like a dichotomy where, and so you watch it and you're like, when I watched him in, just listen, I loved when he played,
Jimi Hendrix.
That's the first time.
Not a great movie, but he killed that shit.
He killed it. The movie wasn't great, but I watched Wood and he killed it. And so he creates these characters that have a different vibration than what even what he did with in Paid in Full, as Alpo, it wasn't like the drug dealer.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? There's so many subtleties and nuances to his work. And even when he just did the New Edition story.
Yeah. That motherfucker is good, man.
He just elevates material.
He elevates material. And I want to see him get the material that is as good as him.
Oh, my goodness.
Because he deserves it. And like, we're friends, but I'm like, even like, I'm in such a respect of his talent and in kind of an awe of his talent. Like, as a friend, we're friends, but like, even when I had a little exchange with him in the New Edition movie, I'm like, this motherfucker's really good.
Yeah, he's really good. Like
And you could feel it. Like, I'm such a fan of, of acting. Like when you're around people that are really good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, no. Even when we did our little scene in the thing, we just were like, we ended up improvising it. You know what I mean? A lot of it is improv. And like, you're looking at them and, but you can't be looking at them because you got to be with them. Once you start acting. But, you're watching him create this character and then you're just in it. And, I think he's always so present and in flow. Like everything is just, it's not from like a thought. It is from a being.
Yeah, I agree. What kind of actor do you see yourself as? Like, do you see yourself as a method actor? Like, I think that everybody has their own method. Then there's the method that everybody hears about. There's, some actors that, like there's this intangible thing like Wood, another friend of mine, dope fucking actor, Benicio del Toro. He's got like this kind of unique, like, it's like you can't really put your finger on it. Some people are more personality driven. Like I consider myself more personality driven. Like, I'm not like a great technician. I don't consider myself a great technician, but like I attract to the emotions first. Like I'll like try, like if I'm reading a script or like trying to understand a character, like I try to understand the emotions of the character. When you're going about like getting into a character, when you have something to sink your teeth in, what are you trying to latch on to that makes sense for you, that sort of gets the puzzle figured out?
Gosh, that's so interesting. That's a great question. I don't know if I ever even thought of it. I just did this indie film that will be coming out in August called Support the Girls. And that one in particular, or all of them, I should say, I have to read something and I read it until like it's, until I just like, I start to physically see how the character sounds, talks, moves, walks, hair. Like I can, and then there have been times where I've been like, damn, I don't see it yet. I get really scared.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'll be like, oh my goodness, I hope, I'm shooting in a week. I don't have it. It's not in there. And then, it'll click. But like, I can't even describe it, but I'll just know their little nuances. So I kind of, what's going on, but I have to read it and I have to actually read the characters around them just as much because I have to figure out the whole world.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, the whole world of it. And
that's interesting. Yeah. Because I'm like, I did a flick with Woody Allen and he doesn't let you read the whole script. Woody Allen. And you'll just get your pages.
Oh, wow.
So if you're in 40 pages, you'll get 40 pages. If you're in,
that's interesting. That's interesting.
Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on in the movie. I just know and it's made me kind of be like, well, I don't really need to know what the fuck is going on. Like, so not that I don't read scripts
in real life, you don't.
I know. So
you don't know what somebody else is going to say.
Yeah, you don't have a fucking clue. So like, and it changed the way I look at things because I'm like, first of all, I don't need to read the whole fucking script. Now, if I get something, I will. But like, especially if I'm just auditioning. And
well, if you're just auditioning, yeah, that's different.
But that's interesting that you said you have to understand it because
I have to see. I look at the whole world where that person fits, and then it's like I'll look and be like, I might read something else and be like, oh, she's sensitive, like you know what I mean, like, and then. I don't know, but it's like every time I read it, I'll see it differently.
I got you.
Until it just opens into something else and it clicks. That's just what it takes to click.
Right. I know what you mean.
You do the emotional part and that makes it click for you.
Yeah, I have to grab onto the emotion. Do you know so much more about your personal skill level and when you're rocking, when you're not rocking, when you're offbeat, when you do a good take, as opposed to 20 years ago when you started?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Talk about that. How much more in tune are you? Like almost like now, like it's fucked up, but like I'll do a take and be like, that's good. Whereas before you're waiting for the director to be like, that's good, telling you that's good.
It's so true. You know so much more. I know so much more to the point where. They may not know. I'll be like, that wasn't that good. We need to do it over. No, it was fine. I was like, nah, that wasn't fine. That didn't. But yeah, because you can feel probably when you have no thought of it. You notice you're your best when you didn't even know what you just did. Like you're so present. But yeah, 20 years ago, I was listen, I didn't. It's so crazy how there's a comfort level that changes so much. You're almost like, I hope they like it. I hope they like it. Now you're like, do I like it?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, did that feel good to me? Or I think I need another one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can get it. So, yeah, 20 years, yes. I mean, it's not even the same.
And that whole, like, I mean, I literally have started doing that where I'll be like, that's good. Like, or almost saying, that's good. Like, we can move on. You know?
I'm good with that. That's how I am too.
And do you, what is a good director to you? And how many times, you know, because people, like, it's a common question. Like, there's very few directors that have actually helped me, you know, like where they like if you're struggling. I feel like, you know, there's been a few, but like, what is a good director?
You know, the director I just worked with is the guy named Andrew. You know what I loved about him? Is that he it's like he literally, there was a lot of trust.
He trusted you?
Trusted me a lot. Like, you know, he had a lot of ideas that he would, you know, before we started shooting that he would talk about and run by and be like, and I like rehearsal.
You do?
I do like rehearsal.
On the set, beforehand, running lines?
I don't necessarily, well, if it's a comedy, I don't want to run lines.
Right.
I just want to talk about it, right? I don't, you know, I can be like, okay, because this scene, you know, because then I feel, I don't like doing jokes over and over. They lose their freshness for me, so I don't want to do it. And usually I don't like to run lines, but I like to discuss it. I like to, you know what I mean? And
with the other actors or with the director or whoever will listen. Craft service.
Yeah. I'll be with the gaffers if I have to. But just whoever, you know, I love the actors because sometimes you're sitting and you discover stuff where you're like, oh, that's great, you know, as opposed to just showing up on set. But you know what was interesting about him is his suggestions were something I would have never thought of. But I'd be like,
that's good.
Yeah, I'd be like, that's really good. Okay, let's try it. And they're against what I would have normally done in another thing. So like he would have me really lean away from emotion because he'd be like, that's way sadder. So so for him, and then he allowed that. You know, he didn't tell me how to do it. Mm-hmm. But it was just his take on things and I loved that.
I got you. Because I think, like, you know, if people don't understand, like, you know, what a director does, I mean, what's a good director? Obviously, like you mentioned, Paul Thomas Anderson. That's like some other shit. You know, when you're working with these masters, it's like you're
in a class at that point.
Yeah, you're in some other shit. You know, like they're like orchestra, or like it's like an orchestrator. You know, who's written everything. He's fucking knows what you're. You know, you down to your nail polish. You know, like Quentin Tarantino, like these Scorsese, like. You're going to have your nails, and I want them shiny, you know, red, but not too red. You know, like they have the fucking details.
You know, I was watching Aviator again, because I watch Aviator every time it comes on. And I was like, wow, Scorsese. That movie, I don't know. And you have to watch, some movies you watch over and over again, and you go, I didn't even see that, right? And and sometimes a performance is so good you don't know how good it is because it's so natural that you're like, dang, I didn't even realize how good it is. And until you watch it over and over again, and the details that were in that movie for me, they never get old.
No, he's on some other shit. He's on some other shit. Scorsese's on some other shit. Even if the movie isn't his...
The Departed. No,
he's on some other shit.
He
like
is.
He's on some other shit.
And that's where I feel like, as an actor, boy, what a gift you have to be able to work with that level of artistry. It's got to make you better.
Of course.
I mean,
you could sink your teeth into some shit.
What? Oh my! You can't. Like, I'm literally... Paul Thomas Anderson lives not far from me, and when I met him, I was like, I'm stalking you. Just because I just was like, I'm like, I want to talk to you about your stuff.
And what he said?
Oh, he's sweet. You know, that's the other thing too. He's like sweet and, you know, nice as fuck. That's the crazy thing is that, you know, even with that body of work, he's just always like cool. He's like, yeah, we'll go by the cafe. You know, like he's that kind of dude. I don't even know if he might not even know he's great. You know,
he knows he's great.
You think so?
Fuck yeah, he knows he's great.
He has to.
You have an ego. Like, you have to have an ego. Like, I mean, that writing those fucking scripts, like, them shits are 200.
And what's crazy about them is how vast they are. You know what I mean?
And they're like that Phantom Thread shit.
Phantom Thread.
What the fuck was that? And then Magnolia and Boogie Nights.
They're all, and then There Will Be Blood. They're all so different. And you're like, wow, that's the same. but he also takes his time with them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He takes his time. He doesn't put them out like a factory.
Yeah, no.
And neither does Scorsese.
He's an artist.
He's an artist.
What directors, we mentioned Scorsese, Woody Allen, what other directors you're like, when and where? Like if they call when and where, I don't give a fuck who it is, what it is, part, not big part. Like what other people get you hyped?
Yeah, that you would do. And I mean, I like Steven Soderbergh. He does a lot of
He's dope too.
Incredibly interesting things. Obviously, I just said Paul Thomas Anderson. I think he's phenomenal. Oh, and not that I liked his last movie, but he's unique to me. I do like Darren Aronofsky. I think he's really good. I didn't see Mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know, but I usually like his stuff because it's unique. I love the indie world. You know what I mean? I feel like there's some amazing, because I feel like they show up for that.
Yes.
Not to say that Big Fanfare isn't amazing. I mean,
I don't fuck with the Marvel, the DC, none of it. Me personally.
Yeah, in terms of what
I'll be in it. If you want to cast me, I'm ready to go.
Right.
I'll be ready to go.
But it's not what you're going to go see.
No fucking way. I don't do capes. I don't do fucking masks. I don't fuck with any of it.
Oh, I like to see pure work. I just get mesmerized and, You know who else? I just saw something and I love him. Well, listen, but I love Francis Ford Coppola. I mean, I think...
You were just about to say the Coen brothers?
Oh, I love the Coen brothers.
Were you just going to say that or you say Coppola?
Yeah, but I do love the Coen brothers.
Yeah, they're sick too.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people who do so many things like that are like special, where I will, and I love it when I watch a movie and I remember it. I just, you know what I mean? I just, like it resonates. Like I'm telling you, I'm not over Darkest Hour yet. And it made, what was interesting about that movie? It made me go read more about him.
Right. About Churchill.
I wanted to know, that man, he was a gift to that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It just makes me think he put me in that moment in time.
I agree. Do you still go to the theaters or are you a screener person? Or are you Netflix, Apple TV? Because my going to the movie theater, I'm not proud of it. It's dropped a lot.
Let me tell you something. Mine's dropped a lot. I'll go every blue moon, like I definitely, for a quiet place, you know what I mean? But it's not often, or if I have a friend and I'm like, sometimes I just buy tickets, but I'm not, I see why they market 18 to 35. Because all my friends and I, we aren't like we used to be. It used to be when something opened, I was there.
I know.
I was there all
the time.
Oh yeah,
I go Friday. Special shit. I'm I know.
And I was there for all of yours. I was there for Higher Learning. That was a big thing. We'd be like, all right, we're going to see it. Those were movies. Those were moments.
Right.
Which is so crazy to me, knowing you, knowing who you are, knowing where your heart is and your passion, for you to play that role that well, it's shocking.
You know what's crazy about that is it was a challenge, so as an actor and you're young, you're like, I'm going to get in my method shit and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But the fucked up thing is it was very lonely because the set, it wasn't I don't want to use this word for anybody to take it out of context. But first of all, it's there was I was sort of by myself. And then there was the rest of the skinheads, they were sort of doing their own shit. And then it's Omar and Regina, Busta Rhymes and Ice Cube. And I'm I want to fucking go hang out with these motherfuckers. And I want to hang around with Busta Rhymes and shit. These motherfuckers are smoking and shit. And I always remind Omar Epps, I'm I remember the first time I heard Nas's Illmatic.
Oh, yeah.
He had a copy of it before it came out. And I remember walking by his trailer and I was like, what the fuck is that? And they were we fucking talking to you, you're skinny. And I was like, yo, I know, I'm from Brooklyn. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking?
See?
But it wasn't like people were. It was just we're all sort of
in character.
Yeah, sort of.
So so you were living it a little bit.
I'm living it, but I'm I want to hear this Illmatic shit. I've heard a lot about this.
Well, that's what's so crazy to know. Anybody who knows you would know or knows of you that you would be listening to Illmatic. So for you to have to do that character, me, I remember I went with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and we were like, "Damn, Mike Rapaport killed it," and he Sadat, it was Sadat X from Brand Nubian at the time.
Oh, shit.
So he knew you or knew of
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And he was like, oh, he's such a great person. He's such a great guy. So like watching it, I was like, wow, he killed it because the expression and the head ball, and like it was just, and that's what I love about a performance.
Right.
Someone goes into their life and has to sacrifice listening to Illmatic. You know what I mean? No, because they're bringing you.
Yeah, you have to go in.
And you have no judgment of the character.
Yeah.
You got to have no judgment.
No judgment.
No judgment.
You can't have judgment of the character.
You can't have judgment of the character.
And that was the thing for me. It was like, I remember sometimes people got offended. I said it on, the fucking internet now. Everything gets, I remember
That's
said I
another
had
terrible
fun
thing.
playing that character.
Of course.
And they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? You had fun. I'm like, what are you're fun. I'm like,
and of course you have
I had
fun
fun as an actor.
That's right, because it's not you. You get to
that
do
was
something,
truly not me.
Yeah, you get to do something that isn't you and really explore it in a way with no judgment.
Right.
Like you get to be like, you're not saying I condone it, I do it, I want to be it, but for that time,
You can't judge that
you
character.
cannot, or we're gonna feel it, and then
Right.
we're not. The performance is gonna suffer, and then
Right.
we suffer.
Right.
So I'm glad you enjoyed it, because if you didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't enjoy it.
Right. I appreciate that.
Because that's what you look at to be like, oh, so when you walk out, this like Ed Norton when he did it to you,
Right.
you have to walk out of there and be like, whoo, I gotta feel. The fact that I can still remember it, and that it like I'm literally, I mean, I still watch it all the time, but that I literally can still remember it, and then still know you and be like,
Right.
he killed there. That to me is when I get to be like. When I get like as a viewer or as an artist, whatever, to be like, shit.
Right.
That's what you look at to go
Right.
like, that was incredible.
Well, I appreciate that. Do you know at this point, because I'm very well aware of this, I think I'm like one for however many wrong.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was wrong. Do you know when you're making a piece of shit? And how quick do you know, or do you have blinders on? Because I could tell now this is a piece of shit, and sometimes I'll know beforehand. That only happened once, and then sometimes you could think it's going to be one thing, and you could literally get on the set, and like in sports, they'll talk about a culture of winning, and you
Yes.
can be like, "This is a set. It's a culture of fucking losing." How quick can you tell if because you never know if something, you never quite know if something's going to live up to the expectations.
Right.
So you always think this can be good.
Yeah.
I hope this is good, but there's sometimes when you're like, "This is going to be a piece of shit."
I've had some where I've been like, this will be fine. This will be fine. I did one, I'm trying to think. I've done stuff where, you know what? Let me lie. I've done stuff where I've been like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like I was like, this feels, and then I've looked at it and I've been like, that wasn't it right there. It's fine, but it's not going to be. And then a lot of stuff, for example, I may not know how the audience is going to respond, but I'll know that whoever sees it will like it.
Right.
It may not be huge, because that you can never tell.
You can't tell that. It could
tell
be a
that.
minute, small thing. Like
Yes.
even like Paid in Full, like it was that's like, that resonated with people.
Yes.
So like, but you want to walk away going like, even if no one sees it, I want people, because you might probably have
Exactly.
you've done so many things, you've probably done small things that not a lot of people saw, but the people that saw it made an impression on.
Yes, and and sometimes I'm the person that loves to see those small things. Like I like to sit and I watch something. I like to sit and find stuff where I'm like, I'll see your name in it and be like, what is this? Because I'll just go, oh, I like the people involved, and then I watch it and be like, that was a dope movie. They, and I'm always like, why don't we get to see more of those? Why don't they? But I mean, that's a whole different talk. That's the machine.
Right.
And the machine is a different thing than the work.
The machine is that's a whole other.
But I think now we're in a culture and a generation, they don't know the difference necessarily.
Of what?
Because we're in such a generation of social media that the fame is so connected to things. Like with us, you just want it to work.
Right.
It wasn't about like, oh, I want to be famous. Like
Right,
you'd be like, I
right,
want
right.
to act. You didn't, you know what I mean? You didn't. And if you got to do that shit, just by virtue of working, there was such a thing where people were like, ah, man, there was such a respect that it wasn't about it wasn't about fame. It was really more connected to, and then if you only wanted to work more so you could get better parts. It was only for the access to work with, great directors
to move
and
up
other great
sort of
people.
that chain of
yes.
of special people.
Yes.
The business is changed so much, and when I look at all the stuff that you've done to now, like like in the the late '90s, in the early 2000s, and as far as like Black Hollywood, Black cinema, Black television,
Right.
Like I feel like right now we're at it's changed the opportunities and the diversity and the kind of parts. Obviously, Black Panther being like a fucking crowning, huge cultural jewel to the things like Moonlight, which was this little fucking movie, dark, with homosexuality and abuse, and like this would have been like fucking a Sundance. May not even won Sundance, and then it wins the fucking Oscar in that crazy way. To all these other, the show on Insecure, to Blackish, to Girls Trip being a fucking monster hit. What is your take on where it is to be? I hate this fucking term, but I'll just say it. What does it take? Your take to be an actress, a person of color,
right,
in show business today, and how much it's changed from 1998,
right,
and the opportunities, and has it changed? Like, keep it funky.
Yeah, like it's a great moment, and I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know about it. It's like I definitely know from sitting back that you're like, it looks great, and I definitely know. I mean, I guess back in the day, I guess there's a lot more to look at. We had. Maybe it's that it's more mainstream. I mean, they've always, we had, back then we had Spike putting out the killer movies and John Singleton. So, it was just a much smaller pool, you know what I mean, in terms of like where you could see. But, that's when I was also going to the movies. So if a John Singleton or a Spike movie came out.
Those were events.
Those were events. And, those events obviously weren't making the numbers that a Black Panther were. But for my youth, man, they were impactful. You know what I mean? Like to go see that and like, to see Juice. And of course, then we had the Eddie Murphys and we had the Boomerangs and, those kinds. So then, Beverly, so those were events. And I guess these are the events now. And, I think with a lot more television options and a lot of amazing people going to television and streaming, and really being able to navigate both, and you see great writing, like that's amazing to see, because you're seeing the quality, on a Netflix and even that makes network television have to, amp up its bar, because it's like there's not like one or two sources. It's not just HBO anymore. Like, Amazon is like, we're coming. So, from that, you just see so many things, and you're watching opportunities flourish, and you're watching people not have to age out of the business too. So there's so many levels where it changes and it broadens. And then there's also the flip side of that where, your syndication changes. There's monetary, there's financial, then there's the value of the individual's work, and, how certain people, because now it's a lot of money, so it's a lot of business. So then you feel like, okay, well, gosh, are we losing craftsmanship because we're looking at this, and now it's kind of like who's hot and who's the purpose of, so then all of that changes too. So it's like, I guess it's like any coin that has two sides. Right.
I agree. And I think so much of what the interpretation of what's going on, and then actually being, a person in show business, in the acting, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, based on what's on Twitter, because they'll be like, well, people think this. And I'm like, fucking, you look at the thing and it's like 7 people, but they'll make it, that's a fake news shit.
Exactly.
And it could be good or bad, but they're like people are freaking out over Regina Hall's sneaker collection.
Right.
You're looking like there's only 7 people commented on it, but those 7 people are freaking out.
And
over
then
it.
What happens is, I feel like, then that becomes truer than the truth.
Completely.
And so then it just turns into, it's always, that's the part that's different. Whereas before, it just, best person got the part.
Right.
You watch that, you were like, oh, and that was it. But there's so many other factors.
I agree. What do you think? Because the motherfuckers don't know this. What do you think about the gender pay thing? Specifically this. like this actor who's dope, who I just saw him in this Showtime thing, which I can't remember the name of it, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, he's so good.
So I'm probably not saying his name right. A couple of other people have said this also, but he said, I am not going to work. I will take down jobs where my female co-star doesn't get paid as much as me. And I'm like, this is some bullshit here. Not that the female shouldn't, but as you know, it's like, let's say he's doing a movie, right? And they're like, we're going to give you $5 million a movie. And the female, like, they don't want a known female. And she works as just amount as much a days, but she's not Jennifer Lawrence, or she's not just someone like, I'm like, homeboy, you're not giving up half your $5 million for Jane Doe.
Right. You know, I think people have to take into account, this is how I feel. And you know, I'm one person, but I will say, you have to take into account not just gender, right? So I have to take into account who is going to motivate people to come see the movie. And so I have to say, you know, if my female is, you know, whatever, Melissa McCarthy, and you know, my male I've never heard of, well, she'll get paid more. If my male is, name somebody now.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, shit. You know,
he deserves to make more money than everybody, and probably most of the time any other female, just because he's that dude.
And because I know, like for me, I don't like I'm someone who doesn't go to the movies a ton. But you know what? If there's a Leonardo movie, I'm gonna go, right? So I'm buying into his body of work, his taste. Right? Because I'm like, he's usually always in some good shit, so it's going to be good. I'm buying into what he is, I'm paying for. Mm-hmm. I'm paying for all of that. I'm paying for all his fans over like spanning 3-4 decades. Mm-hmm. So as an investment, I get my investment back with him. But if it's somebody else and that includes myself, I'm not going to go up and be like, well, Leonardo's getting this, I should get this. Because I'm like, I mean, even if he's in my movie for 10 minutes, I got to give Leonardo because that, you know, Brad Pitt, because he's
the McDonald's, he's the Pepsi, the Coca-Cola, the Kentucky Fried Chicken, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's the Mercedes-Benz, the BMW.
And when you get to that level, you have to understand it. Now, if I had two people of equal caliber, well, then that's different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's the thing that I think is getting missing in how this gender pay,
right,
you know, is, and I'm like, Benedict Cumberbatch, yo, I don't know what you're talking about, because I ain't giving up that money. I'm not giving up that fucking money.
No, because
and you know how hard it is to make money and to get.
Oh no, and I've watched him win Oscars, and he's amazing. And so, you know, but now if I've got him, you know, Benedict Cumberbatch, and then I've got Reese Witherspoon, well, I'm going to pay them equal.
Right.
You know why? Because her body of work demands it. So, you know, everything is, and listen, I may love someone artistically and be like, they're amazing. I just got to pay this one more because of his box office appeal. But I also have this other person who is artistically dope. So I'm not giving him something offensive.
Right.
Or her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's for both genders.
I agree.
That's for both genders.
I agree. It's just the way it's been sort of put out there. And I'm like thinking like they're acting like there's this scandal. And I'm like, there's different things in play. It's like you could get
a lot
McDonald's
of
or the other burger might be good, but the McDonald's is the one that everyone's going to. I don't want to keep you much longer. A couple more questions. Girls Trip. Did you know that what did you think you were making? Like, I mean, this is a fucking huge movie.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we were making it was going to be good. Like Think Like a Man, About Last Night. I was like, those are good. Like, we're going in there. A little, maybe I thought a little less money because it was R-rated.
Right.
So I was like, well, we might have a little less. And I thought it was going to be fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
you thought it was going to be a good, funny movie.
I thought it was going to be a good, funny movie. I didn't want a summer release. I was against that. I was like, oh. And speaking of directors, I'm a huge Chris Nolan fan, right? I love Christopher Nolan. I think he's so dope. And I was like, Dunkirk? You got to, and I'm never like someone who is, I don't believe in counter programming. Like you know, it's like you can't anticipate. Black people like good movies, big movies. So like you can't be like, oh, you're going to be out against Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's like the black people are going to see Mr. and Mrs. Smith too. There's certain movies that, you know, are beyond race when there's a certain like a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Don't put me out against Leonardo DiCaprio. So I was like, really? You go Dunkirk? Oh, it's a specific movie. I was like, it's Christopher Nolan. Like, So I was like, I don't know why, September's good. We got a solid March, April. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, but they were insistent, and they were also willing to put their advertising dollars behind it. And that made it.
Were you following that? Like, were you guys aware of that? Like, for me as an actor, like sometimes you don't know what the fuck. You're like, you're actor, you're paid. Get the fuck out of here.
They
like,
were
go
really
do some
good
press.
because they really need. Well, see, this is the difference now in this new age of like, social media. You have to be in part. So we were being in the meetings on what their strategy was, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. I was still nervous because summer is summer, and then I didn't know if women were gonna feel like we were too crude. And I was like, it's Essence, and Essence is kind of elite. And, we're black women in that age range are going to be like, that was just too much cursing. I just didn't. You don't know how people are going to receive a film. You know what I mean? So you're like, is our demographic going to be okay with this? You know what I mean? And then is the really young demographic who would be okay with it going to see it? I just couldn't tell. And unlike a Hangover or something like that, it's men. Men don't have that.
Right.
Boys are just like, yeah, that's what we do. So
right.
I wasn't sure about it, but I just wasn't sure. You know what I mean? You never can be sure.
When did you start to realize you were in like a big monster, like, yo, this is a hit movie. Forget the people like it. That's fantastic. That's great. But this is like a fucking money maker. Like, it's like, and it keep going. And then the Tiffany Haddish, and it's like Girls Trip 2, and people have seen it twice, and like it keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah, probably, second, third week out. When you're just like, okay, we probably started getting pictures of all the girls going.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I started seeing...
It became like an event.
Yeah, when it became an event. When I saw white women who went with their girlfriends too, and I was like, oh, and Spanish, like when it had crossed the racial thing, and I was like, oh, so women love it. And then, boyfriends who had seen it, or husbands, because their wives were like, come with me. I think that's when I was like, oh, people really, really like this movie.
Right. Right.
And it had a staying a long in the summertime.
Right.
Because I was like, oh my goodness, now we're going to get one weekend and be done, because you never know what can happen in the summer. So probably then, and especially like women who were like, I laughed when I started seeing people's mother, like older women, and they were like, that was me, and kind of reliving portions of their life. Right. Like that was when I was like, okay. Right.
Is there going to be a part 2?
There is going to be a part 2.
Is it and so now that, this is a hit, hopefully the second one will be an even bigger hit. Are you guys like, well, motherfucker, I got to get this. I got to get you know what I'm saying? In terms of, it's not like you're saying, it's like the agents, and who knows if you're all at the same age.
Yeah.
But first of all, is there a date to start doing part 2?
There is. I know they're writing it. The great thing is everybody's really busy.
Right.
So it's, so we haven't locked in the start date, but I know it'll probably be next year.
That's dope.
Yeah, next year is when we would shoot it.
And are you guys like the renegotiation, because it's superseded everything?
I know.
Was there even in your contract for a part 2, or
No.
it's not, because it's not the kind of movie you would think, right?
No. That's the thing. You know what? I've been lucky because I've been in several sequels, and none of them have thought there was going to be a part 2. There was no part 2 for Scary Movie, no part 2 for Think Like a Man. There's no part 2 because everyone thinks it's going to be. So no one thought about a Girls Trip 2. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, oh, okay, we'll get our fan base and and that'll be it. So never, no. So not for this one. But, for us, I think the biggest thing is we just, if you can't do it great the second time, just don't do it.
Right.
So
what if you can't do it great, but we can make a lot of fucking money trying?
I know.
It's like some 50 Cent shit.
I know, right? And it's always scary because, they don't want to pay anymore. Nobody wants.
Well, you guys are in a good position because it's 4 black women.
Yeah.
Like the tables, it's like we got the fucking leverage, and this motherfucking shit was a hit.
Yeah.
This is like the hot shit.
Yeah,
people are going to be hyped to see. You could do some fucking crazy trailer.
Oh, I know.
And people will be like, when is this shit coming out? You guys could be coming out of a hotel like we did it again. The same like The Hangover.
No, it's great.
You have the leverage.
We do, and it's good because I love the girls. Like, I love
You
La.
guys got along.
Oh man, got along. Love La, love Jada. I mean, Tiffany came out and she's like exploded. Love Tiffany. So the good thing for us is that we like each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
And you guys all get it.
Yeah.
In terms of like, get it in terms of the business aspect, and like one hand washes the other. Like, we're not here to, like, everybody's going to shine. Everybody has their moments of shining.
That's the big thing too, is I think that happens a lot too. Like, you definitely have to be like, you have to be amazingly okay with your co-stars
You
winning.
want them to shine. Everybody's got to average a double-double.
If they don't shine, then the whole thing needs to be shiny.
Right.
You don't need a dull spot.
No.
You know what I mean?
Because you can't rock and then two scenes are whack with these, this chick and this chick, and then they come at
No.
And everybody's these are all vets. Even though Tiffany is the newest face of the world, she's
the newest success.
She's
been
doing
in the business.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that was a big part of it too, and even with Tiffany's character, I read the script and didn't know who they were gonna get. Like, so they call me and they're like, we're trying to get Jada and La, and I was like, they ain't gonna do it. Like, because I'm scared. You're like, I was like, Lord, I don't want to be in this movie and everybody's awful and whatever. So then they did it, and then I was like, but look, this character, this Dina character, which originally they had that was they had somebody very specific in mind who passed on it,
Wow.
Which I'll tell you. And then I was like, dang. And so they were upset. And I was like, you'll get somebody else. And then because the studio really wanted that person. And then I was like, but whoever you get, that role has to pop. That's like, what's his name? Zach.
Galifianakis.
Galifianakis. Like, that role has to pop. And then, Tiffany came and superseded that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's an all around win. It's an all around win.
All right. We talked about Wood. We talked about other actors you like. Tell me off the top of your head, actors that you worked with, actors or actresses that you've worked with, that you've been in front of. It doesn't have to be necessarily dramatic. It could be comedic, like Tiffany or whoever. When I say to you, when you've been working with somebody where you were like, damn, this motherfucker's good. Like, when you're across from them, where you just like kind of like...
I worked with Alfred Molina, and I was like, damn, he's good. I would just watch him. Sometimes I'd get caught up watching him. I'd be like, oh, shit, is it my line? I don't know if that's ever happened to you.
I have.
Yeah.
I love when it happens. I mean, it's not good for business. It's not good for the take. But, like, you're like, this motherfucker's... I guess it's like when basketball players, like, I just, like, when they, like, a lot of times they talk about Kobe or playing with Jordan, like, I'm just watching them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're in it, but you're like, not in it because you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're just you've become a spectator at that point. I've worked with him and I watched him do some stuff. There've been people who I've been like, wow, and Wood is definitely one of them, where I've been like, some people I've worked with and I've looked at the stuff and it's been amazing, but they're I'm more amazed by them in an edit.
I got you.
Than live. Some people cut together incredibly.
I got you.
But then in person, they're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where then some people you're just like, oh wow, they're just great,
Mm-hmm.
and that is like, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine like, working with like a Meryl Streep or something like that. I can't, because I don't even know what she would do. That I know it. They'd be like, line,
yeah,
because I just and listen, so many people. I'm saying Meryl Streep because she's like, so big, so amazing, and so famous. I'm sure I'd do it for Leonardo, who's also big. But then there are people who may not be household names, who you just, a lot of people may not know who Alfred Molina is, but who you watch and you go, wow, this person is amazing.
Okay.
And anytime you get it, because I feel like they make you better.
I agree. I always say top 5 rappers, top 5 actors, your top 5. Like, you're like, any place, anytime, I stop the channel, like, where you're like, guys or girls, actors, actresses, you don't have the fucking gender police. Your top 5 where you're like, these are my, they living or dead, where you're like, these are the ones that speak to me the most. You know what I mean? Just like your people like that, you're like, I'm watching them any place, anytime. I'm going to the movie. Like, for me, Denzel, he's probably right now, like, I'm going to the theater sight unseen.
Right. I'm doing that for Leonardo for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going sight unseen, no matter what he does. Now, see, the thing is, I just rewatched Godfather again.
There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers in
I
that.
was about to say, and then you forget about people. You don't forget, but I mean, Al Pacino is, and they're so good in that movie. It's like, then, you'll go and watch some, you'll go and, I'll go and watch Dog Day Afternoon or some shit I haven't seen in a long time and be like, wow, Al Pacino you can forget how dope. That's the thing too. Memories are short. So, sometimes.
They're very short now.
Very short now. So, when you think of people, you're like, yeah, but you haven't, this person.
Al's he's a pillar.
A pillar.
He's a fucking pillar of everything.
A pillar. And you know who else I love? And,
So we're going to go Al. We said Al.
Yep.
You said Leonardo.
Yeah. I love Goldie Hawn. And I know that's a rare thing, but like I'll go watch Goldie Hawn in something like A Private Benjamin.
I could see that influence in your comedy shit.
And Overboard and be like, I love her. Like she's just effort. I could name 50, but I could go old school and new school. Like I love Sally Fields beyond. I just watch Norma Ray. There's so many from before and then now. And like men, like Denzel is definitely.
How good is he?
He's great.
You've never been in a movie with him? Have you ever like gotten to an auditioning with him? Like have you ever like read with him?
Never read with. I've met him and I know people who've worked with him a lot. Listen, I love Viola. You know what I mean? They're just. But there's so many. But you know what I mean? But I'm on the spot. I can't think.
Yeah.
But yes, where I know that whatever they do, they're gonna, Denzel has a way too that he does stuff. They're all, but you're talking about craftsmen from a generation that's different. And,
I agree.
And so it's just, I love Betty Davis. You know what I mean? Like I love Robert De Niro. I'm going back. Even though they're amazing people today, and they are, but like I'm going back where you're looking.
It's etched
Jodie
in your
Foster.
soul, though.
Oh yeah.
Like these are people that like have done shit that's it's etched in your soul.
Listen, you know who I love? I love Anthony Hopkins.
He's stupid. He's stupid good.
It's ridiculous.
Now I'm gonna just throw this my last question: top 5 rappers or rap groups. Give them to me in no particular order, and it's interchangeable because you ask some people listening, like you don't want to offend anybody. So who are your top 5? This is the obligatory question.
Okay, and let me just say this: I love art, so I'm just artist. I'm just gonna come from who comes to mind from today,
and it could be tomorrow. You could have said another 8 more.
Yeah, I love Jay. Always love Jay.
Always got to be number 1. I agree.
I loved Big. You know what I mean? Like. What are you gonna say? Those are 2. I gotta throw Brand Nubian in just because of the impact they had.
I agree. Under the radar. I fuck with Brand Nubian hard.
Oh yeah, and when that came out, it was just so. But I could do that whole. And then Nas. That's 4. Yeah. Lauryn Hill. Who she's kind of incredible.
Okay. I'll give you cherry on top.
Okay.
You got one
cherry.
More. You get a fucking cherry on top. I can't give you a whole damn like.
Right. I should have bitches asking for a whole pie. Let me see. Gosh. Who would I pick? Because there's one spot left.
There's a cherry on top. You were quick to rattle off the other one. Now now you're being precious with it.
Because I am. Because it's my last one.
It's the last fucking one, man. I didn't ask for like your top 100.
I know.
Shit.
Let me think.
Take your fucking time, Regina.
Okay. You know what? I just did a post where I had him on there. Because it was something I saw, and it was a freestyle, like in front of like MTV when they used to do your MTV raps. And I watched this really dope documentary on hip hop, and it was a bunch of hip hop artists, and they were talking about just like the grind that you had to do, because there was no there was no way to get seen unless you just had to be the dopest, right? So they would just be in like freestyling, going to radio stations, they were the competition, the level that you had to be at, the level of excellence. And, your rhymes had to say something where people were like, ooh, and Rakim, I just remember he was the bar, he would just, Rakim. That's the thing. It was kind of like naming the actors. like you forget. And it's like, how do you not forget the beast that is Rakim?
And then, Rakim, you go KRS, Big Daddy Kane. But that's why it's interchangeable.
Oh, yeah. Kane. I mean, there were so many. I mean, it's like you could think about, listen, I mean, obviously there's hip hop now, but I might be biased, but I swear our generation just shits on all of it.
Period.
I mean,
you don't have to give an excuse. It is what it is. They know it. The younger gen, they know.
They do know. They do know.
There's no explanation. If some shit is a banging, there's some shit is funky. Like if you found Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim, 300 years from now, the planet, got blown up, and you're not going to have to explain it. People are just going to bob their head. They might be speaking another language. They might not be speaking English anymore. But they're going to be like, this is dope. You listen to James Brown.
The soul feels that.
That's just it. Feels it. James Brown, 1,000 years from now, you don't need any explanation. You might not even be speaking the English language. That shit'll resonate. All right, Regina Hall, OG Regina Hall.
And I do love Kendrick Lamar right now.
He's good. Like there's good people.
Yeah.
There is good people. We're not shitting on the whole thing, but as a whole.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that.
All right, Regina Hall, I'm a fan.
I'm a fan.
I appreciate you coming to rock with. One day, maybe, like, not only get to meet, we'll get to work together.
That would be dope.
Fuck yeah, that would be dope. We got to figure something out.
That's right.
But I appreciate you coming.
Oh, I appreciate you having me and introducing me to Weezy.
Thank you.